Right, so hey everyone and welcome back to another budget photography video. So for the last 10, 15 years of digital photography, the king of photo editing has been Adobe with their Lightroom and Photoshop. But recently their high prowess, or whatever you want to call it, has been challenged by third-party software. Now, some of them are free, some of them are subscription, some of them you have to pay a one-off. A lot of them, for me, are pretty bad, really, if you ask me. I don't like them myself, but this is Luminar AI. It is a £80, yes, £80, so it is cheaper than Photoshop and Lightroom. It is a one-off payment, so you're not any more recurring charges. You pay for the software and it is yours. So that's a good thing, but it is also a bad thing because when I first started out in photography, I didn't have a lot of money. And the thing that drew me into, Adobe and their Photoshop and their Lightroom was the fact that I could pay £10 a month, the same price as Netflix, and be able to edit my images the way that I wanted to. Now, this one here is called Luminar AI. And it's kind of taking the photography world by storm because it is so good. So good. It blows my mind how good this is. Now, the only major downside to this software is the fact that there are no apps for something like your phone or your iPad, if you have one. So you can't really edit on your phone. If that is something that you wanted to do, you can't, unfortunately. So I do kind of apologise for that. I don't know why I'm trying to apologise for. That's not my fault. I don't know if there is going to be an app for this coming anytime soon. I would hope so, especially with the new M1 chips in the new iPad Pros. Kind of hoping that, Luminar AI will take that as, there's a new SoC, so we can take, full control of that power of the SoC and the 12 to 16 gigabytes of RAM or whatever it is. And we can utilize that because this is working on an 8 gigabyte machine. This only has 8 gigabytes of RAM and it works perfectly. Now, to be fair, they're the only downsides. There is so much that you can do, and I am seriously debating whether or not to switch over from Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop to this software itself. But I like the fact that I can edit on the go. It means I can send photos to clients a lot of the time by the same day or even the next morning at the latest. Usually like a first edit, like, hey, what do you think of this? And then I do like a proper edit and yeah. But the power of this is amazing. It's kind of mixing Lightroom and Photoshop and then adding in just a little bit of AI and combining that all together to make a really good editing software. So why don't we head over to the Mac and find out? Let's go. Recording. So here we go. Here are the protests, actually, the protest pictures that I did the other week. And let's go into this one. And I'll show you what I mean by it. It can be, there we go. So this is actually, I think this is straight out of camera. It might have enhanced this, but I'm not too sure. So let's go to edit the picture. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to enhance it a little bit. And we're going to go to Sky. We're going to scroll down to Creativity and we're going to click Sky because we're going to replace this up here. And I'm just going to click that and I'm going to select, it's quite an overcast day. So I'm going to select, let's just go with that one. And we'll give it a minute just to load in. It has to figure out everything that's going on in the picture. There we go. So this does have some problems. So if you notice, actually, if I go on to one of the next pictures, if we zoom in just here, you can see just a little, I'm not really sure about what that is. I think it's part of a bridge that's there, and it's not really there in that one. We've just got some lines that are going up just here. So it's not perfect, but we can erase that. We can just go like that and just, get rid of, my hands are not very good on a mouse. We can just select everything that we want to get rid of and then we just go over here and we push erase. That will take its time to work, and you do usually have to give it, there we go. So it's not the best at erasing, so maybe you do still need some Photoshop for that. But in general, I mean, you wouldn't really tell the difference, really. I mean, it's made the sky look a hell of a lot better. And there's, you know, you don't just have to do it to these. I mean, I think I've got one just here that I did the other day when I was practicing on it. And again, yeah, it's you know, it's missed the bridge here. I forgot what it was even called then. Which isn't too good, but again, you could erase that if you took more time with it. I didn't take more time, so there's that. So let's go back to the catalogue, and we'll search out for another image to see what else we can find. So, because this doesn't just work with like landscapes and stuff like that, this works for like portraits, and I think I do have some portraits, but I'm not sure. And they're just overexposed. And there's a selfie over there. That was for social media. And that's the end of it, really. Trying to figure out what image we could actually use next. What a nice portrait, really. I didn't really get portraits. I didn't have much time because I was... The day that I was making this, I took these, sorry. I was actually with another friend who was helping me do the documentary that I made. So I didn't really have much time actually to get many pictures, which is a shame, but it happened because I was mainly concentrating. Here we go. We've got these two ladies here. Click on that. And wait for that to load in. There we go. So we've got some typical Canon colours. Yes, it's crooked. I know it's bad. Blah, blah, blah. We'll click on the edit. We'll sort out the composition, actually. Composition? Composition. Now, I am not really used to this software, I must say. It's still really new to me. But we do have standard, you know, exposure controls, and because obviously it's got raw, we've got a smart contrast. I wish I had a little bit more control over the contrast, but there we go. So we zoom in on this lovely lady here, and we go to all the way down. We can actually alter this lady's face, so we can add the lighting to it, can brighten up her face. We can make her slimmer or bigger. We can get rid of any shine on her face, if she has any, and the amount of it. We can... Now, she hasn't got her body in this picture, so that's okay. And there's actually a lot more that we could do with this. There's so much that you can do with these software. It's not just a standard, you know, editing software that you have to kind of... This seems to be quite out of focus. It seems to have focused back here when I was aiming for here as well. So that's a bit of a pain. But that's okay. So we can change the temperature as standard stuff. We can, you know, we can make it black, and we can do the blacks and whites. We can do the curves if we want to. And bearing in mind, this is 70, 80 pounds per year. And bearing in mind, this is what, 80 pounds maximum. So if we go to their website just here, there is so much that this stuff can do. But before we go into that, you can see this is the biggest downside to me. For one computer license, it's $80. Now, yes, I know that isn't UK price, but I'm having trouble with my VPN, so I apologise for that. I can't really do much, but their website is, well, here. And this stuff isn't sponsored, but this application, there is so much that you can do with this application. If we go back to these two young ladies here even, we go back to, actually no, we'll tell you where we'll go. Let's go to the catalogue, and we can go to this one, I think. Yeah, we'll go to this one. This one will do. And we'll go to edit. And I think we will replace the sky, first of all. We'll brighten the day up. So we'll give that a minute to load. So now that that has loaded into the software, what we can now do is, we don't have to just put that there. We can put in other stuff. So if I want to have a hot air balloon, I can. And it's just there. And I should be able to move it. Let's just make it... or we can put maybe some mountains in the distance. Just like that. And we can... There we go. So now, what we've got is kind of, it could be a remote village somewhere. And they're just having a protest. I'm not trying to take the mick out of the protest. I was covering this event. I'm just using these pictures because these are the only ones that are on the drive that I'm using. So, yeah. We can also, so much that you can do. You can put fireworks in, different planets, select different things, atmosphere. I can put in some fog if I want to, fog mist, there we go. And it just looks so good. So much that you can do with this software that... adding some sun rays. And yeah, this software is probably one of the best that you can get. And for $80, you can't really go wrong. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me in this video. I'll see you in the next one.